Looks like my driveway.
All right, looks like it's 6 o'clock, so we'll call to order the October 16th meeting of the Board of Supervisors. And the first thing we'll have is invocation by Miss Gabrielle Walker, Homestead Community Church.
God in heaven, I thank you so much for all the people who are here. I thank you for those who have been elected into their position. I thank you, Father, for everybody who is here representing their particular community, their family. I pray, Father, over this particular meeting, Lord, I ask that your hand would be on it. I pray, Father, that the leaders and the citizens alike would work together in a beautiful representation of compromise and seeking the best for Patrick County and for Stewart in particular. I pray, Father, that this room would be full of passionate peacemakers. I pray, Father, that when disagreements come, because they don't come, I pray, Father, that you would have your hand in it, that your presence would simply be here. Even for those, God, who don't believe in you, who are not called by your name, I pray, Father, that your presence would be here and that your mercy would fall like rain, God. And I pray, Father, for this particular meeting, that your hand would be on it, that you would bring guidance, that you would bring wisdom beyond anything we are capable of. And I just ask, God, that your name would be praised somehow, some way. And I pray this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Ms. Walker. We'll have pledge allegiance. Mr. Simmons, would you lead that?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now we'll have a moment of silence in recognition of the U.S. military serving here and abroad and all public safety. Thank you. You may be seated. All right, I've got one card here I want to read before we get started. It's from ARAP Volunteer Rescue Squad, ARAP, Virginia. It says, thank you for your and the citizens of Patrick County's help in making our ambulances safer and more effective by helping to finance 2 loading systems for the ambulances. ARAP Volunteer Rescue Squad. Y'all welcome. We had a proclamation. Is Miss Raina Michelle Montgomery here? Not here. We'll skip over that one. She may come in. All right, we're going to need a approval of the agenda. Get a motion.
I'll make the motion, we approve as presented.
I'll
Got a
second.
motion. Got a second. Ms.
Aye.
Sims?
Aye.
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 Now I vote aye also. Wasn't any amendments we needed to do on the agenda. Approval of the meeting minutes from September the 11th, 2023.
Motion to approve.
Got a motion,
Second.
a second. Ms. Simmons?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
And I vote aye also. And we got approval of bills, claims, and appropriations. Was there any more questions on those, or everybody happy? We need a motion on that one.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Simmons, need a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Deloach. Call for a vote.
Aye.
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 And I vote aye also. It looks like the next thing we got is public comment. And we only had one, Roger Hayden, Dan River Solar.
Yeah, that'd be me. I want to thank everybody for coming and helping us out, try to get some work done on solar. I've been doing some research on the solar and on the cadmium telluride, and of course that's the makeup of the panel has cadmium telluride in it. CDTE is an abbreviation of it. And that chemical, if it leaks into the water, into the land, soil, stays there forever. It says, do not allow the material to be released into the environment without proper governmental permits, and do not allow product to reach any water source. Danger of drinking water if any extremely small quantities leak into the ground, be detrimental to the aquatic waters. In other words, it kill all the fish out. And but the probability of that is not known. I just really do not like the solar because it is erratic. It works only when the sun's shining. The rest of the time, it shuts down and doesn't supply electricity. And I don't think it'd be a good thing to have solar farms. Solar farms is taking up a lot of land, and once I believe, this is my belief, that if you have solar farms and they sit there for 40 years, something's going to leak, something's going to break, some problems are going to happen, and also. I think we're talking about the right one. That's right company anyway. Can you imagine Patrick County with all these solar farms around the area and all the dirt they're going to move and whatever for these solar farms to sit on? They're going to scrape the topsoil off, more than likely they have to, because they're going to level the land. And basically, they're probably using a herbicide to control the weeds and grass and stuff that's going to grow up in there. And basically, herbicide stays in the ground forever, and nothing will ever grow back in that area if you use a heavy amount of herbicide. So I don't think solar panels are good for Patrick County. And they're having the problems, maybe having problems with these panels. We don't know. They're a new type that they manufacture now that's supposed to give off more electricity. I don't know what's wrong with crude oil. You know, what we're going to do? You're going to go plug in your hair dryer down in the road or something, or what? You know, it don't make sense to try to make this to replace crude oil. Now they said they're going to do away with all of the crude oil, all the oil. They're going to go to solar. I don't think it's possible or probable, and I just say to everybody, please, let's keep Patrick County beautiful. Now, tourism, you keep messing with everything, and the tourism is not going to come through. You know, get the road on the mountain up there looking really nice, we'll be okay. So I'm just asking the people of Patrick County to say no to solar. No to the solar farms. If they want solar panels on their property, they're going to set them up for their use. That's fine. Well, I'm talking about solar farms. Okay, that's different from what you use at home. So I'll leave you with that. So say no to solar. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. Careful. All right, that's all we had signed up for public comment, so I forgot to open it, but I reckon we better close it. Get a motion?
I don't think we need a motion.
No motion, okay. We'll close public comment then and move on. New business. We had the first one on that's Mr. Greg Preston, Piedmont Community Services, with an update.
Is he here? Oh, it's somebody else.
You've changed, Greg.
Don't look like Greg.
Hello. Unfortunately, Greg had a conflicting board meeting this evening, but it is unfortunate for him, but my pleasure to come and talk with you all. I am Monica Flora. I am the Assistant Clinical Director of our Addiction and Recovery Treatment Services. I supervise all substance use services, both treatment and recovery, across the West Piedmont area. And so it is my pleasure to meet you all. And I just want to start by thanking you. You have a beautiful community. And as I'm native to Franklin County, I've been with Piedmont for 14 years. And so it is my pleasure to come out into Stewart and Patrick County and watch services grow. I've been in this position for about a year, and our services are already growing. It's very nice to see. So my hope today was to talk to you a little bit about how those services are growing, give you an update about what Piedmont is doing. Often folks ask me, what do I think is going to be the solution to this problem? Because we know that addiction is affecting everyone, that in our country 1 in 11 people are dying, 1 in 10 people are dying every 11 minutes. So we're losing people very quickly, and we know that this area, Southwest Virginia, including Patrick County, has been hit really hard, and you've lost a lot of neighbors. And so one of the things that is important to me, that when folks ask me what can we do, it's connection. And so we know we can't jail our way out, although our law enforcement's doing a great job. We know that public safety is doing a great job. Everyone is doing their part to help our community heal. But one of the things that I would like for us to focus on in Piedmont to play a role in is developing connection, because addiction is very lonely, it's very stigmatized, it's something that people fear getting help for. Excuse me. And so if we can develop connections with these individuals, then we've seen success in some of our other areas that we're providing services. One of the ways that we're doing that is we are increasing our peer recovery workforce. So Piedmont, actually, our community service board leads in the state with we have hired 27 peer recovery specialists. That means that we hire people that have lived experience with both mental health and substance use. And people will call me when I go to schedule an interview, and I say, and I just want to confirm, you have at least 1 year in recovery from substance use. And folks will say to me, you mean you want to hire an addict? And I said, yes, I do. Because I need somebody that has long-term recovery to be able to give other people hope. And so that connection of being able to meet someone and say, I have been here and I have overcome this, and I am a successful member of my community and I give back, I want to show you the way to do that. So we're hiring peer recovery specialists that are sort of spread throughout the touch points to enter Piedmont services. We have peer recovery specialists hired in Patrick County. We participate with SOVA Martinsville and Franklin Memorial Hospital, where we station peer recovery specialists that meet people that have overdosed. And one of the areas that we're looking at is, since there's not a hospital here, what we would like to do is, instead of trying to partner with emergency facilities, we want to partner with public safety. And so when there are individuals that have overdosed and you have public safety, law enforcement, fire departments that are going out to these homes, I would love to hire peer recovery specialists that are trained to go out there as well, so that they can help the family members and they can help the one that's overdosed. It's an evidence-based program that we're seeing become very successful in Virginia. Some of the other things that we're doing, we have hired a substance use therapist who has worked in this area for years. She does a great job. We're seeing the numbers increase, which is a good thing, that more folks are coming in for treatment, because we know the numbers of overdoses and the people that are using in the community tends to increase. So what we want to see is the increase in treatment. So we're getting ready to actually advertise and hire another position. And so that's been years in the making to grow enough that we need another therapist. We have 2 case managers that work out of Patrick County now. And the newest revelation is that we started to think, if we have all of these individuals, and for a while, big cities like Richmond and the state and nationwide, they were telling us, go telehealth. Telehealth is going to solve this problem. Well, it doesn't solve our problem, because we don't have broadband. We don't have access to the internet. So we had to think even bigger. And back in 2021, I asked for a grant for $411,000, and I designed with our team a mobile unit. Because what we needed to do was we needed to stop expecting people to come into our offices to receive help. We needed to get out to where they are. So it took 2 years for that mobile unit to be built due to shipping and other things beyond our control. But we finally rolled it out this past September. And we have had great success. We have been going out once a week in Patrick County to ARAT. So we are trying to go out to rural areas where folks not only lack the ability to use telehealth, but transportation to get in. We plan to launch a second day in November that will be in Patrick County. But one of the things that we're running into is that we are finding people need this service. We're having trouble with capacity to prescribe the amount of medication that folks need for addiction medicine and behavioral health. Because on our mobile unit, it is a traveling clinic. So we have a nurse practitioner. I have a LPN nurse. I have a licensed therapist, a case manager. We wanted this to be a one-stop shop. We have a peer recovery specialist. So I wanted those individuals to get the most that they could have for traveling out to see our mobile unit in their area. So we want to link them to food banks and resources such as insurance. We want to help them with job readiness skills. We link them to our community recovery program. We're really trying to be centered around looking at the community health needs and how do we decrease those barriers. We have 5 recovery residences at Piedmont. Unfortunately, we don't have any in Patrick County. That's a problem for me. Because the other solution that I've seen is that when we have people that can live in recovery residences, which is where you learn to be in recovery by working with those in recovery. So it's not a treatment facility. It pairs with treatment with Piedmont, but the 5 recovery residences that we run are very successful, and they are run by peer recovery specialists. And I could talk at length of the rules and the guidelines, and it's evidence-based and why we do that. But what we are trying to do now is, instead of buying property, because we don't have the capital to be able to do that, I'm looking for landlords or renters that would like to partner with Piedmont, and we can use their property as a recovery residence. In turn, Piedmont would pay like damages, and our residences are immaculate. They're actually beautiful. We hardly ever have damages. But it would be guaranteed rent. And the other piece of that is, if I can help individuals become healthy and be productive in the community that they live in, then they're more likely to stay productive in the community they live in. We see that families become healthy because then their family unit says, wow, look at what's happening with you. I want that. But if we ship them off to Roanoke or somewhere far away, they can get healthy there, but when they come home, it's not actually improving the community. And so recovery residence is something we're looking at. In fact, we were the first in Rocky Mount to have the first accredited recovery residence for pregnant and postpartum women. And on a daily basis, I get referrals from around the state. And we know that neonatal abstinence syndrome of the babies that are born substance exposed is very high in Patrick County. You're seeing younger women also that aren't married that are having children. And so what we did was we created this recovery residence in Rocky Mount, and moms can live there with their infants. They can stay for at least a year, which is also very different because a lot of programs are only operating 3 to 6 months, and we know it takes a lot longer for them to get on their feet and be able to obtain employment, work on their mental health as well as substance use needs. So that's an area that is on my radar. We are trying to pursue OAA funding because these are great ideas. We've learned how to do them very well. I stand behind the integrity of these programs of what we're doing, and I would like to see them here because what I'm seeing is the communities we're building them in, the communities are becoming healthier. So we are also, speaking of communities, we go into the Patrick County Jail. We go in 2 hours every Friday. I have therapists that go in. We do a men's group and a women's group, and it is fantastic because we don't want to wait until we have those returning citizens that are coming home to then say, oh, I think you need insurance, and we need to get you over to a doctor. We need to set you up with therapy. We want that to happen prior to them being released. And so we're starting the therapy in the jails, and we have a community recovery program that's going to be going in and doing job readiness skills, resume building, so that people already have their foot in the door with services and resources before they come home. We do have 16 individuals that are part of our community recovery program, and 5 of those are working in our occupational training program in Stewart. And although I'm proud of those 5 and I'm proud of those 16, I want to see that grow. It's not good enough. Those are skills. And so our community recovery, when I asked our supervisor, I said, I'm going to speak to the community, to these great people. What do we need? And she said, I have people, I have staff, I need businesses to clean. I need places to train people to go and do these. So that is another thing I wanted to put on the radar, that if we had some more partners, that we could increase some skills that they could learn. For example, we do clean the Spencer Penn Center. They clean our Piedmont offices and our psychosocial rehabilitation programs. So I want to share with you this good news because I think over the last year we've really watched our substance use, addiction, and recovery treatment services boom, but they're not big enough to meet the need of the community just yet. So thank you for letting me share that. And I do have a partner here with me, Toby Panos, that wants to say a few things. But before I switch with her, is there any questions or anything I can elaborate on for you all?
I do.
Yes,
so
sir.
real quick, I had the privilege of speaking with an individual the other night who has just returned to Patrick County from an 18-month recovery program, doing well. They inherited some family property with some rental houses on that property. They were seriously considering not renting and doing some type of recovery residence. If you could leave your contact information, I would love to pass that on to them.
Yes.
So if they decide to go that route, they know who to call and make things happen.
Absolutely.
So that would be wonderful if I could get that, please. I've got some more horns to toot, but I'll see what, let Toby go first, and so I can improve on what I hope she's about to say. So that's all I have for right now.
Thank you, Mr. Perry.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
What kind of services do you provide for the families of those who are addicted?
Absolutely. So we do not have any formal services set up such as like mutual support groups such as Al-Anon. What we do though is that within our treatment services, it is typically a requirement that when individuals are coming in to meet with us, we ask for at least one family session. Now, not everyone takes advantage of that. So I told you earlier, one of the keys here is connection. And so something that we are in the process of drafting is that we would like to partner with some of our other services such as Healthy Families and Prevention so that we can have a family night and there will be a therapist there to be able to explain what's happening with the disease of addiction, but also a peer recovery specialist to offer that hope. In the past 6 months, I just hired our first family support partner. She is on our mobile unit daily, and her job is she has lived experience with a loved one that has had substance use and mental health. So she can help a family member identify what that substance use looks like and how do we help them. We do educational sessions through our CRP program. We've done 2 so far in Patrick County in the last 3 months where we have talked about substances not only in the workplace, but how do you, for family members, how do you identify substance use? We have set up a 24-hour warm line, which is run by peer recovery specialists, so that if a family member is worried about an individual or they need some help dealing with this, they can call the warm line and speak to someone directly. The feedback I've gotten across West Piedmont when I speak with law enforcement is that some of the toughest situations they're in is that they go out to a home and the family member wants help for this individual and it's not something they can do. They can't take them away that night. Maybe they're not medically incapacitated where they can get them to a hospital, and they feel like I can't help this family. I can't help this part of the community. And so what we've been doing is we've been giving law enforcement cards and our helpline number so that if they go out to a family, instead of the officer trying to explain the next steps, the officer can actually say, do you have a cell phone? I want you to dial 276, and they give them the phone number and we can talk to the family. So one of the things on my radar is that it's not just parents anymore that when we look at a family unit, it's grandparents, because the majority of kids that are being placed out of home in foster care and custody are getting placed with grandparents. So now you have a grandparent who's trying to help their parent, their child, and then also a grandparent. So it's multi-generational, and that's something with our children's services and adult mental health services and that we're working on.
All right, thank you.
Sure. I know that was long-winded. Thank you.
That all? You got nothing, Mr. Simmons?
Okay, so I would like to introduce you to Toby Panos. She is our lead community organizer, and she's so organized, she has a handout for you. May I approach you all and give you a handout? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm not super used to microphones. I usually just yell, so just be patient with me a little bit. My name is Toby Panos. I'm the lead community organizer for Piedmont Community Services in the Prevention Department. I oversee all community-related services that we have in prevention. Our director, Regina Clark, could not be here due to another commitment, so I'm happy to share updates for the Prevention Division on her behalf. The prevention team at PCS continues to partner with Patrick County Public Schools and are continuing the drug prevention programming within the schools. The Too Good for Drugs program is evidence-based, and it's been well received by students and the staff. With new staff hired through prevention, we've been able to have more of a presence in the community. Staff have been able to participate in several community events, including the Mental Health Walk and National Night Out. They're participating in an event this week. They have the Apple Dumpling Festival coming up here in Patrick County that they're super excited to be a part of as well. So the Chill Youth Task Force has been invited to provide activities for children at the Apple Dumpling Festival and the Halloween Spooktacular, so they're super excited to be a part of that as well. We continue to share deterra bags and lock boxes to the community. Deterra bags are at-home deactivation solution kits so that people can deactivate unwanted, unused, and medication that's sitting around the house. Thanks to funding from Engaging Patrick County, we were able to purchase more of those items, and we will continue to provide those in the community at no charge. We continue also to offer parenting sessions for anyone interested, and we've actually been working with the Sheriff's Office to offer a 5-week evidence-based parenting program in the jail. So we're looking forward to providing this as an additional opportunity for those who are interested. Our biggest accomplishment that I'm happy to share is the start of the Substance Use Prevention Community Coalition. The group officially organized in May of 2023 and has been meeting monthly, and they have officially adopted the name Drug-Free Patrick County. We will be working on developing their mission and vision statement in the next couple of months and strategic goals for substance use prevention and wellness for the community. The other big accomplishment is the start of the Chill Youth Task Force. CHILL stands for Communities Helping Improve Local Lives. It's a group of high school students that are committed to making healthy, positive choices and being positive peer leaders in their school and community. We have 56 students that are a part of that program across the region, so we are super excited to continue growing that in Patrick County. The group launched in June with their first leadership training, and they're going to continue recruiting students throughout the year. Thanks to funding from Engaging Patrick County, they were able to host their first drug-free alternative event on September 29th. Drug-Free Patrick County and Chill hosted their first 5th quarter event after the home football game. They had 88 students in attendance and about, I think we figured 12 adults. This event included free food, games, music, inflatables, prizes, all at no charge to the students, and it was a fun event. We look forward to providing more of those. We know that students often tell us that there's nothing to do here, so we want to give them something to do that's positive and puts their energy in a good place. We've been very busy over the past few months, and Prevention looks forward to continuing to work with residents in Patrick County to help and to serve. If you have any questions, I will take those. And then if there's anything that I can't answer, Regina Clark is our division director, and her information is on that handout.
I have some more horns to toot here. So, absolutely, I'm very excited about Drug-Free PC. It's been part of my bandwagon ever since for a very long time now. So excited about that. And anyone following along online or here in the audience listening, and you have would like to take part in helping with substance use and substance abuse and drug prevention, the coalition meets the second Tuesday of each month at noon at the community college in the community room. Except we're not meeting in person this month. There's a training, is it on the 18th?
Yes, it's on Wednesday, and it is xylazine training. That's a new, well, not really a new, but an up and coming substance that we're learning a lot more about. So this training is specifically for our little area. So if any of you would like to attend, you can send me an email and I'll give you the information.
And as the coalition is progressing forward, of course, they're building capacity, and as they move into the assessment phase, part of that is a lot of data collection, and that's when they identify the root causes and local conditions. Once we figure out those local conditions, the specific why are we having the issues we're having here, that's when the fund starts and develop those strategic action plans to actually move the needle to reduce substance use among youth here in the county. And again, they meet the second Tuesday of each month, not this month, at noon. If you have any questions, you can contact Brooke Robertson and leave her a message at Piedmont Community Service and just give them your name and say, hey, I want information about the coalition. And she'll give you a call or email you back or put you on the email list so you can be up to date as to what's going on. Also with the CIT project, that was a grant from Piedmont Community Services, and it was the intent was to relieve the burden on law enforcement. So, you never know when somebody's having a poor mental health day, and when these things come up and law enforcement gets involved, we were really in a reactive state, pulling people off the road to help these people. That made it very difficult for us to do our jobs as well. So with the grant and with the implementation of the CIT program, if not all, then the majority of the jailers have had the training, and even some of our road officers. That has greatly helped reduce the burden on the sheriff's office dealing with people that are in the crisis of a poor mental health week. So that too is greatly appreciated, and thank you, Piedmont, for making these things happen.
Thank you. Anything else?
I think that's all we got.
All right.
Appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. And next, it looks like we got Mr. Zach Church, the Director of Engineering for River Street Networks broadband update. And both of you want to come on at the same time?
Sure, that'd be good.
That'd work good. Miss Amanda Cox, Appalachian Electric Power broadband update.
Hi, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Amanda Cox with Appalachian Power AEP. Happy to be here to report on your 2022 VODI project, universal coverage for Patrick Henry and Franklin counties. You also got River Street Networks here as your last mile provider, and Appalachian Power coming in as utility leverage. And a lot of folks ask, why is the utility a part of these projects? And there's a lot of different reasons. First, our service territory, it's rough terrain. We've got sparse populations in some areas, but you've got power lines that are running all through the area, and sometimes all the way up to the transformer we bring the fiber. So we penetrate a little deeper into the residential neighborhoods because we don't live close together. We're spread out in rural areas, and our whole service territory pretty much looks like that. Secondly, we have a dual purpose fiber. So of course, for our communication purposes, we have to have fiber to let our folks know when there's an outage, what type of equipment is needed, what type of, whether it's a pole, lines, trucks, whatever needs to come up. So we already have that internal communication with our fiber. And now with utility leverage, we use that for other reasons as well, like our AMI meter infrastructure, our automatic switching and access points and things of that nature, and then lease the dark fiber to the last mile provider to provide connectivity. And then of course, the third reason, and probably one of the most important, is that it's actually housed in our power zone. So it is a foot below the neutral. If there's any kind of outage, we're going to get in there and work with your provider. We're going to be making repairs to the electric service and to the fiber in our power zone. Another really good point of being in the power zone, and we've heard this all across Virginia, there was about $800 million put into rural broadband, which is really great. But there are a lot of unintended consequences with those dollars. So think about thousands of pole attachment requests, people wanting to connect into the communication space, the bottom part of our pole. With the utility leverage programs, we actually just drop right down into River Street, and they connect to the home. So you're going to skip a lot of that engineering, a lot of that construction. We'll come in and do pole replacements on the backside. So you're really going to see some movement on this project, and there are quite a few delays that are happening right now with some of the projects that aren't utility leverage. So there's a lot of good reasons to use utility leverage. And of course, this project is a total of 380 miles, as I mentioned, Patrick Henry and Franklin counties, approximately 12,000 customers. And just on the Appalachian Power side, it's a $57 million project. So that really tells you the type of build that it takes to connect some of these rural areas. In Patrick alone, there are 144 miles. So we received commission approval on August 3rd. We've been talking all along with our partners. We need about 6 months to go through some deep dive pre-engineering work, and Zach's going to touch on that. But we've been having bi-weekly meetings with River Street, their engineering team. Everything is going right along according to our schedule. We're set to start construction at that 6-month mark. We're also looking at some existing fiber that we have in some of the areas to hopefully have some faster connections to some of your customers. So I will turn it over to let Zach talk a little more technical stuff. But if you have any questions on what we're doing with utility leverage and APCO, just let me know.
Again, I'm Zach Church, and I'm also filling in tonight for Mr. Rob Taylor. You should see him there on the presentation. He was also unable to attend tonight, but I'm the Director of Engineering, and I'll try to dive in, kind of leave it where Amanda left off. That is our VADI 23 locations that were awarded, about 3,424, about 116 route miles for a total cost of about $8 million just on those from the project we're looking at. If you want to go to the next slide. Overall locations that are touched right now is 8,376, and then about 636 miles of fiber is what we're going to be doing, and that's taken off from areas that Amanda and AP are able to build and extending on out. That's kind of what we've got estimated, and that portion is about $50 million. I'm going to go one more. Some of this Amanda has already hit, but we are working on co-locates for 3 different facilities. I was able to get up here a little early and get my eyes on a couple of those, so make some adjustments a little bit. But we are looking to start construction first quarter of 24. So my engineering group, our engineering group, we have had those bi-weekly meetings. We are discussing priority routes where we can get those guys started building fiber early, to connect some of those co-locate facilities, as well as other portions coming in probably maybe from our Stokes network, so we can extend up into Patrick and then work to tie in Franklin and Henry as well. So I think we're making really good progress with that. Run into a few snags here and there, but I think we're looking pretty good. Again, as she said, we're trying to start all 3 counties at the same time, so we get movement everywhere. Part of this note there, the construction sequence. I think we're, once we get those priorities, we'll start setting up and knowing which routes, which roads will be going through there. Next steps, he's got listed as ARC funds for the VADI 23, and I think that has been filed. I got some stuff with Michael Armbruster with the West Piedmont PDC for that. So the notice of application, I don't know, I think that date is the 19th. If there is a possibility for a application for 24 VADI, that just needs to be a kind of a letter just saying, hey, we plan to apply for a VADI 24 application. From what we're looking at, there's about 1,309 unserved locations left in the county, and about 193 unserved. And for us, that would be about a 64-mile extension off of what we're currently doing. And, any questions for either one of us, I guess?
I got a couple.
Okay.
I think the first thing, last time EDA updated us, y'all was going to have boots on the ground in September of this year.
So it's boots on the ground. So, and I failed to mention that. So thank you for bringing that up. But we have surveyed every location that's part of that, and know kind of the initial step of how we're going to get to each one of them. If there isn't AEP poles, we know what side of the road we want to be on, where our pedestal locations and stuff like that are going to be. So we've had the whole county has been visited by Vantage Point is our engineering firm that we're using for this county, and we've got a great idea of what we need to do.
Okay. And another clarification I haven't got all along with the whole system. Will this new broadband be just AEP material and River Street material? Or are y'all going to try to use some of existing stuff like Brightspeed?
It'll all be a combination of their stuff and our stuff. We may connect to Brightspeed or whomever for backhaul, to other places or to get out to the internet, the same that we would do anywhere else that you provide internet services, additional connections to the outside world.
Well, that's a big headache, because the problems we're having with Brightspeed right now with all their WAP stuff and outdated, if we had to rely on them, we're not going to gain nothing.
Right.
So we have all new aerial, 244 strand, I believe, fiber. Most of the project is all new aerial fiber that we'll be deploying, connecting in with River Street and their new system as well. So you shouldn't have to worry about any of those issues. And it will be, I believe, I don't want to talk about your packages, but I believe that at least up to gigabit speed on most of those packages. And I mean, my kids love gigabit. They can stream everything, they can play everything, and they don't mess up my TV or my work or anything I'm doing. So everybody right here is going to be able to enjoy what the rest of Virginia and the country has really been able to enjoy finally. So it's exciting.
About time.
Yeah, packages will start off for, at 100 meg and then go all the way up to a gigabit.
Well, I started to ask you, what kind of speeds can we expect?
Yeah, it'd be 100 meg all the way to a gig.
Okay. But what about, have you got any kind of idea what the cost on it will be?
I'm pretty sure that it's out there. I don't know, I'd hate to quote anything right now, but we can get that information to you. And we also do offer a part of the ACP program. So for lower income or people that have maybe a WIC program or something similar to that, so they can apply for that as well, and that would reduce their costs.
And we've been working with our partners to make sure that the price is fair and equitable for our service territory. We know we look a little different than DC and Richmond and some of those areas, and they've been doing a fantastic job to make sure that it's something that families can afford in our service territory.
Well, it needs to be that way, because the cost of living ain't the same here as it is in Fairfax and Richmond and whatever.
Well, and that's one thing about River Street. We're a co-op at heart back home, so and we do rural, so we're used to the off the beaten path a little bit, and that's what we love.
Good.
Will that also include a telephone or just strictly?
So we will provide telephone service as well. It'll be a VoIP system, so kind of over the internet as well. But yes, we will provide that.
And then Brightspeed can't handle that either, so.
Well, we'll be able to also do some streaming services with TV. We've got a partner that we work with there. So if you want to do that, kind of get one bill, all one location. So.
Do you have any kind of rough idea, and I know that's hard to do, when all this will happen and be done?
Well, we hope to have, something being built the first quarter of next year. So we're going to be on it as hard and as fast as we can go once we get started. I don't have a hard date, but from what we're seeing, material, from what I'm seeing on their stuff, material seems to be leveled off. There was issues with it. So River Street's strategy has been get it now before it does hit, because I do feel like it'll surge and have some issues there. But I think with the conversation we've had with AP, they're kind of doing the same thing, getting it now while it's a little more controlled environment. So I think we'll be fine.
I'm sorry. Our construction schedule for the new fiber is for February of 2024, but that's not to mention existing fiber that has capacity that we can start looking at earlier connections. So as Zach said, River Street's been all over all 3 counties in this project area, making sure they're doing their due diligence, and we've had our engineers and assessors as well, so that when we do start building, we're ready to go.
Good. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
County is.
Y'all got any more questions?
No, that was mine. No.
If it can make them brief, because they both come in from a long ways and got to get out of here, so make a couple of brief ones.
What about upgrading the old Embark substations to fiber?
That would be something that provider would have to do to make that investment in it. We do see that in some places where it's called an open network, but typically that's not done on a copper network. That would be a fiber network that was owned by a county or conglomerate or something like that. It's just not, that would be us taking control of an asset that they already had. I like the question though.
There's no.
But it was Embark, and Embark and Brightspeed are the same, right?
Yes.
The same, it's just two different names. Well, switching stations, if we just change it over from copper to fiber, that would solve a lot of our problems.
Yeah, I agree, and that's what we do in networks that we own. If we've got existing copper facilities there, a lot of times we'll use the same thing there. But the technology from that building to the home is completely different. So it's going from a copper cable to a fiber. So you can't, to get the speed, you've got to have fiber closer to the home, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I want to ask y'all, why do every time you get a lot of money, y'all put it on fiber? Y'all just run more fiber instead of working on trying to get the last mile?
Well, that's a different company than we are, sir, so I can't really speak to that. Yes, sir.
Hey, all right, Roger, we got one more over here.
I'd like to ask the broadband. I live off of 58, and I've seen y'all working, all up and down from Marshall. And I know y'all connected because I've seen those guys and gals working 8 hours a day, putting whatever together. I guess it's the broadband. Will we have to go to broadband, whoever y'all are, pay for that, plus maybe your cable company, plus your Appalachian, plus your Brightspeed? Or is Brightspeed going to be part of broadband? Please explain that. I don't really understand that.
So the current construction that's going on there is not River Street or AEP. I'm not.
Wait a minute, it says River Street and Genesis. You've got 4 trucks on Highway 58. Right, and then that about half a mile from Circle K on 58, right beside Appalachian.
Okay. Well, Genesis is a contract we've used before. So they might have a sticker still on their, one of their stickers still on their truck, but it is not us. I will figure that out. But to answer your question is, you would have either choice, whatever provider you chose, whether it was Brightspeed or River Street, you would just pay that provider. You would only have that one service at your home.
Okay, so I would have to drop Brightspeed to pick up River Street. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am, unless you wanted to pay both of us, but I would assume not. So you would pick whichever one you wanted based off what they can provide to you, maybe pricing and stuff like that. And we do offer a streaming platform, and that's typically what TV is going to go to. It's going to be over the internet. That's what is going to happen in the next few years. We're seeing it transform very rapidly. So we do offer options where you can just pay us the same you would pay those, so it's just one deal that you have to have.
Be able to get the local stations, like, right now there's a contract dispute with WXII, Hearst. Is it going to have that kind of problem?
I wouldn't imagine so. It would be the same as if you had DirecTV, satellite or something like that. So some of that stuff would be out of our control, but the TV market is pretty volatile at some points.
So Brightspeed and River Street
We'll have
are
to-
coming through the same cable? What you're saying?
No, sir. No, sir. We're completely two different companies. AEP's communications between their power stations and things like that will be in the same cable as the River Street networks.
So we're gonna have a new cable run to our house for your service, is that?
Yes, sir.
That's about all we need to tie them up. We wasn't aiming to have questions. Maybe you could leave a contact or something.
Yeah, I can leave some cards and feel free to, anybody that does have questions, just give us a call, send us an email.
Okay, let's do that, and maybe if y'all would come back again a little more.
Yes, reach out. And
Keep people informed.
Okay.
All right, but if you leave some communication, I'll get it to Mr. Perry and all the others that
Okay.
have questions.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you all. Drive safe.
Exciting news.
Next, we got Mr. Terry. If you don't come on, and we get somebody else. You're up next, Mr. Terry.
I know everybody has a lot of questions, and I'm sorry that they're leaving because part of my comments were directed to them, but I'll try to make this brief. I know it's a huge amount of business tonight. On behalf of the Broadband Committee, I'd like to welcome Ms. Sims and also Mr. Cooper to the county during a very exciting time. Broadband projects such as we came to hear about tonight, some of us did anyway, are believed by many experts to potentially be the biggest boost to rural economies and quality of life practically is anything you could imagine. I mean, it's going to have a huge impact. The supervisors reconstituted the Broadband Committee at the request of a group of citizens, and we began meeting monthly 6 years ago in November. It was 2018. Starting with our very first meeting, we scheduled presentations from a broadband consultant or internet service provider each month for most of the first year. This helped educate and provided guidance to our committee and to the county. River Street Network made a presentation at our March 2019 meeting. Ms. Amanda Cox with Appalachian, that you heard tonight, made a presentation on middle mile fiber at our May 2019 meeting. River Street was on the list of internet service providers invited to respond to an RFP issued in July of 2019. This RFP is credited to the tireless efforts of Mr. Bryce Simmons and was a proposal to partner with the county on grant applications and subsequent broadband projects. After reviewing the proposals, the committee unanimously and wholeheartedly recommended that the county select River Street as our partner. Upon being selected, River Street and Mr. Simmons worked day and night to meet the first grant application deadline, and I still don't know how they did it. Our confidence in this selection has only increased as River Street Networks has been instrumental in providing the expertise and much of the work in helping the county win 3 highly competitive grants from the state VODI program, federal RDOF funding, and an Appalachian Regional Planning Commission grant for broadband master planning. They've partnered with Appalachian Power on the middle mile, as you heard about tonight again, along with Charter Communications, which won RDOF funding and a VODI grant covering the balance of the county with fiber to the home service. Over $50 million has been funded for world-class broadband in our county. We could not have dreamed of that level of service in our rural county, economically challenged and as difficult to serve as our county has been. Even with the large governmental grants, this would not be happening without the millions of dollars that River Street, Appalachian, and Charter have committed to investing in our county. The members of the Broadband Committee, on behalf of all of our citizens, wanted to take this opportunity to express our deep appreciation to these companies, and I will forward copies of this to them. I'm sorry they left. The committee makes some requests, however. The committee requests that the citizens be updated monthly on the status of these critical projects. Broadband availability is a huge factor in many decisions impacting the existing businesses and homeowners, as well as those considering moving here. As a member of the board for the Tri-Area Community Health, I know this impacts our plans to expand telehealth, and I know it impacts the ability of businesses such as ours to recruit and retain employees to the area. The the Laurel Fork Clinic serves 1,400 Patrick County patients, which makes us a critical provider of health care here in Patrick as well as in Carroll and Floyd. I don't know how many of you realize that it was that many. we have a huge number of patients, and they depend very highly upon us, and they need broadband. We respectfully request that the county officials carefully monitor progress of these projects and look for every opportunity to identify problems and assist when any delay, such as occurred with charter VDOT permitting, and that did occur, or other issues may come up. We know that our internet service providers want and need to complete these projects as expeditiously as do our citizens. Lastly, we know that our internet service providers must consider how they can recoup their large investments, and certainly as fiber is installed, we expect them to connect every customer possible. At the same time, we would ask the county officials and internet service providers to be cognizant of the fact that areas that were upgraded some 20 years ago and where services are today the best in the county are likely to be upgraded first. Most remote areas were not upgraded, where if Brightspeed, more remote areas were not upgraded, where if Brightspeed provides any service at all, the speeds were under 1.5 megabytes per second and outages are frequent, and also telephone issues, as y'all all know. It seems unfair for those tax-paying citizens in these areas to be last to receive upgrades. To the extent possible, and I know that's asking, it's a dichotomy for the companies, we expect them to connect everybody as quickly as they can and to try to get returns on their huge investments. But we would also ask that the county officials and the internet providers look for ways not only to expedite upgrades to the entire county, but to prioritize areas which are so direly in need. Again, our deepest appreciation for the commitments River Street, APCO, and Charter have made in Patrick County. Now, I was surprised when I learned that Charter was not on the agenda tonight. That leaves out, a pretty good bunch of people that still want to know what's happening. Nothing was said tonight by River Street about the large amount of customers that are going to be served under the RDOF grants, which is a separate grant funding or concern than the VADI is. And I was just conferring with Mr. Zach, I forget his last name, sorry, it's gray hair. But he did confirm that they will be doing both projects in concert with each other. And of course, Appalachian's not involved in the RDOF portion. Charter's not here tonight, so I wanted to let people in the areas that they will serve know that they held a meeting with VDOT on this past Wednesday. And they feel that some issues delaying permits have now been resolved. They have crews available to begin work immediately upon getting these permits in place, and they expect to start very quickly. When work is underway, Charter would be happy to make a similar presentation to what we heard tonight. The committee requests that the supervisors schedule a presentation with Charter so that people in those areas are also informed. I would also ask you to if you haven't gone on the website that Citizens has had for years, where they have an interactive map blocked off and shaded for the different phases of their 6 years, I believe it was, project. They had it from day one, and they had completion dates by year, not to the minute or not to the day, but by year of where they expected to complete each area of the county. And those have been there for the whole world to see for years and years, and they're still there. And I would love to see River Street and Charter put something like that so our citizens know, should they sign a contract with somebody else, should they move to Floyd, should they locate their business here. I have a neighbor who's bought a very expensive property and invested in a nice huge building, and his wife is still working, and she's in Texas because she needs broadband. I mean, this kind of thing comes up all the time, and y'all know it, and we all know it. So our citizens are so gratified and pleased that this is happening. I am too. Great news, but we need to make sure that we continue to push the buttons and make this train roll as fast as it can. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Terry. And next, we got Ms. Morgan Booth, interim clerk with a departmental update. And I'm glad you're doing that because I don't think that's something that I can remember getting from the clerk's office.
Well, good. I hope I have many more to come. Good evening, board. I'm Morgan Booth. I'm the interim clerk of court. Thank you all for allowing me to speak tonight. I'm here to provide an update on the clerk's office, and it's my intention to provide regular quarterly updates to you all. Since our office has had quite a few problems the last couple of years, I just want to be completely transparent with you and the public here tonight. So please bear with me. I'll try to be quick, but we've been pretty busy up on the hill the last 11 months. The last time I spoke to you all, I was accompanied by Sheriff Smith when we discussed the security construction project. I had no idea it would take almost a year just to get quotes from companies, but we have just received our final quote, and I'm getting ready to present information to you all for that. We're very excited to have this finally starting. As you can imagine, we are unknowingly face-to-face with some dangerous people from time to time, so bulletproof glass and security safeguards would make the public and our employees feel much safer. When I was appointed in November to the role of interim clerk, Judge Brinks and I thought it would be a great idea to have members of our circuit team from the Office of Executive Secretary to come to our courthouse and perform a management analysis to determine our strengths and weaknesses, especially our weaknesses. So I would like to go over some of their findings and explain what we've done to correct and improve them with you all. According to my calculations, we've complied with 91% of the recommendations provided. So to start, I'll just read the recommendation and how we've complied. The first one, there were no written job descriptions for staff. That has been completed. No cross-training of staff. We are continuing that every day. It was recommended to utilize training materials on the Office of Executive Secretary's website. We take webinars monthly, if not more often. File date stamp all documents and distribute to that division in an attempt to avoid overloading the front counter worker. For example, if a criminal motion is filed, it's given to the criminal clerk. If an estate and probate document is filed, it's given to the probate clerk. Rotate the employees working the front counter until one is hired and trained. We are currently training a new employee to handle the front counter. No jury management system was utilized. I implemented the Virginia jury management system several months ago. The front desk is not utilized as a second register. We have been using this since November. Broken panic alarms. The broken ones have been fixed, plus there will be new ones with the security upgrade. E-recording not utilized. We are working on this. It should be coming soon. Auto numbering deeds not utilized. This is completed. Cross-training for indexing. That's been completed. Criminal clerks to be trained to complete sentencing orders instead of just the clerk. In the previous administration, no one was allowed to complete sentencing orders except for the clerk. Now, Ms. Smith, Ms. Augustine, and I complete sentencing orders for much faster turnaround. Additional staff member trained in the criminal division. Ms. Smith and I both are trained with an office of 4. Up until recently, it was quite impossible to completely comply with this recommendation. Internal audits should be done of fines and costs, which is our #1 audit point. An employee now inputs the data into the financial system, and another trained employee checks behind her to ensure low probability of error. The legal pad for court notes should be discontinued. We have changed that per the recommendation. Log notes are taken in court if needed and immediately updated in the case management system. Criminal clerks should update arrest returns from sheriff's office. That has been completed. Online payments were not utilized. We have converted to online and we love it. Collection rates have increased and we've gotten lots of compliments on that. Records past retention dates should be destroyed. I have destroyed several years of election materials past retention date. There's so much that still needs to be destroyed in our office. For example, receipts should only be held 6 months after the audit, and we still have receipts from the 2000s. So that project has been started, but definitely not completed. Utilize the circuit case management system for printing envelopes and letters for concealed handgun permits. That's done. It was recommended to enter concealed handgun permit fields into case management system at the time of receipt. That's been done. Probate clerk can sign probate orders instead of just the clerk. The previous administration would not allow anyone to execute probate files except for her, and this has been discontinued as well. Additional staff cross-trained in probate. We are educating every day. Only Ms. Hazelwood was certified in IRMS, which stands for Integrated Revenue Management System, a system we can collect tax refunds from criminal defendants to pay off their debts to the county and state. And I certified myself immediately after being appointed in November. Additional staff trained in bookkeeping. Ms. Smith can also complete daily deposits now. Bank deposits are taken the same time every day, which was a risk of safety. We try to stagger trips to the bank now. And automated judgments are not utilized, and that has been done. So rest assured, we could not have had the successes that we've had in the last 11 months without such a dedicated, hardworking staff. There have been several other upgrades that were not mentioned in the OES analysis that I would be happy to talk about at another time. The most recent upgrade I'm super proud of is a huge deed backscanning project that everyone's loving. Title abstractors and realtors have given many compliments, and it's only been finished for a few weeks. This project allows images of deeds from 1973 to present time to be available for online access. And I would also like to mention with that, all of these upgrades and improvements did not increase our budget. This was all accomplished at no cost to the county taxpayers. This is not an update from Morgan Booth candidate. This is an update from Morgan Booth interim clerk. In saying that, there was an accusation made that 2 people were turned away from our office and told not to come back. The deputy clerks nor I know anything about this, and since this is a potential violation of the code, I have reached out to Sheriff Smith, and he will report back with any findings. At this point, we believe if anything like this occurred, it's bound to be a total misunderstanding. I would also like to say thank you to those who reached out in our very stressful months. We've had many heartwarming gifts from our local offices, compliments, and encouraging words from the public. We're supposed to be staffed with 6 employees, including the clerk, but there were many months this year we only had 4 employees. I'm not saying this to complain or receive any sympathy, but I think it is noteworthy to mention there was a lot of extra hours being put in by all employees of the clerk's office that were not compensated for and were never asked to be compensated for. We've had many folks come in and say the atmosphere in here is so much better. And an attorney from Martinsville actually said Patrick County Clerk's office is the gold standard. I say all this to assure you we are on the road to success. We love our jobs. We love to serve the people of this county. I, for one, am very proud of our office, and I hope you all are as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Booth. And I'd also like to remind other departments that the board welcomes voluntary reports like this to promote greater transparency so that people know what's going on with the different boards. And we've got a couple of them here tonight. Mr. Houchins is here. It looked like we got Mr. Scotty Castle next.
Thank y'all for letting me come tonight. I want to report on a couple of committees that I've been sitting with. First, I want to address the E911 committee. The committee has met twice in the last 2 months. We're working on a project to upgrade a tower. This project has been going on for almost 20 years now. It is well beyond time to fix it. The committee has received 3 quotes. And we had supposed to have Zoom meetings with them, but we had a little technical difficulty, so we had phone-in meetings with them to answer any questions because the range of the quotes were so far apart. They ranged from $33,000 to $60,000. The committee met with each individual quote person individually. They answered all the questions. They're all insured. They're all bonded. They're all certified climbers. And the committee voted, six voted for one company and 2 abstained from voting. They voted to allow mobile communications to finish the project. So I'm coming tonight to ask that y'all give us the blessing to go ahead with that. The money's already set aside in the budget. We're well within that amount. at $33,856.23. And if y'all have any questions on that, I'll be more than happy to answer those if you have any. Anybody got any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. You got a $33,000 quote, $60,000. What was the middle?
The middle one was $52,755, and the high one was $60,490.98.
Okay, thank you.
And we already have purchased the microwave that goes on it. This is to install the microwave on the Surrey Tower, which is off Slate Mountain, the microwave on the Bull Mountain, and to install 3 antennas and the wiring into the building to wire it all up.
I have a question. Is one of the reasons mobile communications is going to be able to do this so much cheaper because they've already done some work on this?
The majority of it is, if you look at the quotes, they include in your package, like the middle one has a $9,000 mobilization cost.
Right.
Mobile communications is in Winston. They're a whole lot closer, so they don't have to bring people down from Northern Virginia to do this project.
I'm just leery. So where this project should have been a long time ago, and I know they have had some issues that if they had gone through earlier, we would have had a product that's actually worse than what we have now. And I know they've done some great work for us in the past with setting up radios and doing frequencies and stuff, but I'm still reserved about them doing the tower aspect of things, especially with their latest performance. So that's...
They actually, for the tower portion, they hire another third-party company to do the tower work for them. They also have to pass an inspection. The inspection is performed by ETS, which was the highest bidder. They have a separate division that inspects their towers because they work for North Carolina. If Mobile Communications fails that inspection, then Mobile Communications is responsible for fixing whatever at no extra cost to Patrick County.
Have we got the money, Laurie?
It's on.
There was $60,000 allotted this budget year to complete the project.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we go with the committee recommendation of Mobile Communications.
I'll second.
Okay, call for a vote.
Can I ask one more question and discussion? What's the time frame?
They said they can actually start within 2 to 3 weeks, depending on getting the antennas. All the other stuff is already there. Mobile Communications was ready to start back in May, actually. So once they get started, it's just a couple of weeks process as long as they have good weather. And the reason we want to go ahead and get this project working on Bull Mountain this time of year can be a little tricky. So we want to get it done before the end of the year. Because like I said, it's been 20 years we've been dodging the bullet on the backside of this county.
Aye.
And no, I'm just reserved about given their history on this particular project.
Okay, all right, and I'll vote aye also. Thank you. The next I want to address, the ESAC committee has met, and the ESAC committee is made up of all the chiefs and captains of the local volunteer agencies. We wanted to discuss the capital improvement money. The first thing we discussed was the Blue Ridge Volunteer Rescue Squad. It's their turn to get the capital improvement money for the rescue squad, which is allotted $76,000. Mr. Billy Aldrich has asked that the county approve that they buy a load system with that money. We purchased 2 for ARAT last year. To give you an idea, this year, Mr. Aldrich is asking for $64,812 to put 1 system in. Last year, it was $80,000 for 2. That's how much they've gone up in 1 year. It's a tremendous help.
loading patients. And the the committee wanted the board to know that all of them but one voted for it, to make the recommendation that they approve that load system for Blue Ridge.
Well, they work great. I've seen them in action. They really work great.
They save a lot of backs.
Is that the only company you can get quotes from on them?
Yes.
Okay.
And you did say they are transferable so when one unit we can.
Yeah, if you discontinue that unit, you can take it out and put it in the new one, yes.
They do work great. I've sold.
And Billy says all his trucks are running good. That's the reason he's not asking for a new truck. And the new standards coming, and everybody's going to have them in their trucks eventually anyway.
All right. Do we have a motion on?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second. Call for a vote.
Aye.
Aye.
And
And I vote aye also.
All right, thank you. I'm sure Billy thanks you too, and the citizens of Blue Ridge. The next up is Mezzadam Fire. It's their year to get in the rotation for the capital improvement for the fire department, which is $154,000. We met and discussed, the members there discussed, and I have polled the ones that wasn't there. I called them by phone and talked to each of them in person. That Mezzadam has asked, and I have Ronald Terry with me here tonight, the chief of Mezzadam. They have a 1987 brush truck they're trying to replace with a new ton truck. They looked at Ford, Chevy, and Dodge, and the Chevy was the cheapest. So they're asking for the board to approve them spending $68,000 to get a truck with a flatbed so they can transfer their skid unit over and have a dependable brush truck. That's their first request of that. I don't know if y'all want to tackle them separate or if you just want to do one at a time or do them both at once.
Probably ought to separate.
That's what I figured too. So, but Ronald's here to answer any questions about that if you'd like to ask him any questions about why they went with the truck they're talking about or why they need it.
The truck, is it like a ton truck?
It's a ton truck.
Ton?
That's what we got quoted, is a ton. What we put us on now is an 87 3/4 ton truck.
And I put the quote in y'all's package.
Do we have a motion on the truck for Mezzadam?
I'll make the motion to approve that.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second?
May I ask a question? Is it under a Virginia state contract by chance?
No, the quotes were on that.
Because we can check.
I was going to say we can check.
Should we
Yeah.
wait on that then?
I think we should wait.
That's.
I'll make a motion, we wait. No, doesn't need a motion. I'll withdraw my
You don't have to
motion.
have a motion.
Need to make sure we do it right.
Or
Yeah.
as a maximum, also, if it came in under contract cheaper.
Yeah, where I got the quotes from, two of them, they sell Ford and Chevrolet, and he asked, he could put it under a quote for county and save some money. So.
Well, let's table that then until the next meeting. Okay.
And the second item they asked for, I handed y'all pictures. Ms. Sims asked me to go take pictures of the parking lot this morning. Went up there and took pictures for y'all to look at, to see the condition of it. They have asked for give me notes up here, $80,650 to tear up the existing parking lot and repack it and pave it. The committee met and hashed it out, and all of them except for 4 thought it was capital improvement because it is an improvement to the property and to the building. There's been discussions whether it should be under capital improvement or not, but the majority of the committee thought it should be brought to y'all for y'all to decide on. So they're asking for that as well. Ronald can answer any questions to the parking lot. It's over 20 years old, or right at 20 years old.
Well, my opinion is it's a want, not a need. You don't need a paved parking lot to operate. In my opinion, I don't think it falls under that criteria, but I'll let the other board members speak as well.
Well,
I'll be the bad guy.
if we base it off the past where we talk about capital improvements a lot. I mean, that's more in line than the truck is, because that's a true legal capital improvement.
Yeah.
Any improvement to the property would be more in line technically with the old rules than the truck would be.
I was under the impression that this money, when it was set aside from day one, and there's a long list of what goes under capital improvements, this money was specifically to help the stations and the companies to purchase vehicles, because as they wear out and need new vehicles, it would be tough for our volunteers to just up and get a new vehicle. So that's the number one priority for this money. And then the second priority was to be for those improvements to help fire and rescue, save lives, and put out fire, kind of like the lift assist that ARAT was asking for. So where paving the parking lot, even though I know the fire station is truly a staple in every community, and it's certainly something that the community can hang their hat on, I'm not sure that the parking lot falls under that initial intent, those priorities for the companies and stations.
Well, I mean, this is kind of where we're at in the last couple of years too, and that's why this new way of this committee was formed. Kind of was what we were told last year, was we need to find a new way for them to come ask for it and everybody approve it. So by doing that, we let them do that. They made those decisions. They're in the rotation. If it's their year and that's the way they want to spend their money, I don't know that it's right for us to tell them what they can and can't use it for. I mean, if we did everything the way we were told to do it last year, this is the way we want to start doing it. They got to come ask for it. The committee's going to get together. They have to approve it. If everybody did that exactly the way they were told to do it, and it's they're in rotation, I don't see how we can say no to that.
I would agree. Of course, Clayton, you could do it for free, couldn't you?
Are you volunteer? But I will comment on it too. I know.
If I can tell you the main reason that we come up with this, we have two trucks that, our other truck that we were looking at replacing is an 84 tanker. We were looking at replacing that initially. I mean, there's nothing, I mean, it's got issues. I mean, it's 84 model. So, there's small issues. We try to maintain it, but we've had it since it was new. We were looking at updating it first, but we weren't looking at brand new trucks. We were trying to find a newer truck. And anything that we found comparable to replace that truck was still in the 90s model truck. And we didn't think it would be prudent to update a 40-year-old truck with a 30-year-old truck that we didn't know. Like I said, we've had this one since it's new, and that makes some difference as well. So we looked at new ones to replace that. And we're looking at $380,000. And, we're getting 150. So we didn't want to put the fire department in that much debt and rely on the economy the way it is now, rely on the community's donations to help make that payment. And we also need the new brush truck, because it's an 87 model. So, and the parking lot does need paving. I mean, I understand, we can operate it as gravel, but it's already pavement there. So it's hard to, when it starts falling apart, it's bad. You're going to have to do something. So we were looking at replacing the brush truck and the pavement, and if we can get that done, we can get by a few more years until we have to replace our main truck and use our main truck that we're using now to replace our old tanker and buy a new truck at that point. We know it's going to be more money, but this way we don't have to rely on the community donations to keep us afloat, basically.
Well, the only other comment I'd make on it, from having a little experience with asphalt, is have somebody look at it and see if it could be maybe sealed, fix the cracks and seal it instead of tearing it all up. And then even if you're going to tear it all the way up, I didn't see but one quote in the packet, so you'd need 3 quotes.
That's all we got at this point. Is
Yeah,
one quote.
we'd have to have 3 quotes on it, that much money.
We have patched it before, several years ago.
Yeah, I saw a couple of those pictures on there, but you know, as long as you can keep it from pumping and gatoring up.
Part of the big problem is a lot of that in front or out toward the road is field dirt. And we got one big sinkhole. So, you know, I mean, it's, it is what it is. We're just trying to be responsible with the county's money without putting the fire department in debt. It's the reason we come up with what we've done. I mean, if the county don't want to do that, we can go back and look at replacing the bigger truck now, but like I said, that's going to put us in a lot of debt that we're going to have to rely on donations to make that payment. So we didn't think that was what we wanted to do at this time.
Well, I'd at least get some more quotes on the paving, get 3 quotes on it, and then have somebody look at it with seal and see if it could patch and
come on up.
Put it together. I don't do it anymore. I quit. I'm out of that. I done got too old. I done got too old to fool with it, but it's plenty of places.
Part of the problem too is getting anybody to have time. The people are pretty busy, so we've had time to get the one quote so far since we decided to go this route. That's all we, you know.
Maybe you can get it by the time we get back with another meeting and with the pickup and everything.
Yeah.
And then we'll look at it. Okay?
And I'll be giving you an update probably next month on fire and rescue as a whole. Still putting some stuff together. Had to finish up quite a few fires this month before I got everything ready for let y'all know what's going on. Had a few inspections and everything to get ready for.
And it's good when you bring it to us, the public gets it too. So
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah, like I said, I'll be bringing it out next month. Like I said, I had several inspections. Didn't have time to put everything together to get it out for you tonight. So we'll be bringing it back next month for you.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank y'all. Let's see. I think if I'm looking at my notes right, Mr. Houchins is next, Director of Tourism. I've scribbled so much I can't read it.
I promise to be long-winded.
Wait a minute.
I just want to make sure y'all was listening.
Yeah.
You are a preacher.
We hear that.
Yes.
You need
All right.
to stay in the pace. Go ahead.
First of all, good afternoon. What I wanted to do tonight, we got some updated numbers from the economic impact study that's prepared by the Virginia Tourism Corp. The report of the visitors. Gave y'all 2 handouts, which was just a brief synopsis. I've got a complete copy here that I will be giving Beth, just in case she did want to kind of look at some of the numbers. But just some of them on the handout that we have. First of all, in the state, visitor spending exceeded 2019 levels by 4.4% in 2022. Travelers spent $83 million per day in Virginia in 2022. Now on your handout, I just noticed that they actually had 2021, but this is 2022. So travelers spent $83 million per day in Virginia in 2022, up from $69 million in 2021. Virginia's tourism industry generated $30.3 billion in visitor spending across all communities in 2022, a 20.3% increase from 2021. As you can see, Virginia's doing well. And according, to that, there's a lot of other information on there too about the dollars that were spent. And you can take a look at that. In the region, though, visitor spending in Southwest Virginia reached $1.2 billion, a nearly 10% increase or change over 2021. Kim Davis, who is the director of the Friends of Southwest Virginia, she had stated and gave in her report that Southwest Virginia's growth is direct visitor spending, with nearly a 10% increase over 2021. This reflects the region's enduring appeal and the dedication of our local tourism partners. And we're partnering with all of the different counties throughout Southwest Virginia. Visitor spending in our region has surged beyond pre-pandemic levels, showing a remarkable 16% increase compared to 2019. Note, these figures are a powerful reminder of tourism's essential role in driving our state's economy's well-being. As we collaborate with other regional partners, we are committed to showcasing the natural beauty and cultural richness of Southwest Virginia, strengthening our region as a top choice for destinations for travelers far and near. Now, this is what's important is our local numbers. In 2022, we saw an increase of 3.5% in total spending for tourism in the county. Tourists spent $5.1 million on lodging, $3.2 million on food and beverage, $8.3 million on retail, $2.2 million on recreation, and $4.2 million on transportation. Keep in mind that in 2019, it was $22.2 million. This is an increase of to $23 million with an increase of $800,000 from the previous year. So our tourism dollars are going up in Patrick County. And I know you've heard a lot of citizens coming in talking about the need for broadband. We get visitors each and every, it seems like every week that would love to move into the county. Their concerns is broadband, so hopefully that will continue to transpire. You've heard some concerns also when we're talking about the solar panels and the solar farms. I just hope and pray that you all make the best decision for the future outcome for the county. It's more than per se just a dollar, but it is the beauty that we're marketing here in the county. The tourism department will continue to promote the county through print, social media, face-to-face marketing at local and regional events. These are in-state and out-of-state events. And just a quick note on the face-to-face marketing. We were down at the IBMA's International Bluegrass Music Association in Raleigh, North Carolina. We had a tremendous 3 days there. Several people from all over the world. I'm proud to say that this particular magazine that I'm holding in my hand right now is in the home of 2 people in Tokyo, Japan. We've got them in Belgium, we got them in Germany, we've got them in Frankfurt, we've got them all over the United States. So we're doing what I would consider a pretty good job here on marketing the county. And again, just to let you know that those face-to-face interactions are important. Out at the Autumn Leaves Festival over this weekend, we had over 1,000 people come by our booth, and we were actually on the newer part of the Autumn Leaves Festival. We wasn't even on Main Street. So I can only imagine how many people we would have probably met then. They love the county. I mentioned it to Steve House today that one of the biggest draws that we did have was Primland. I would say that probably 50% of the people that came by our booth noticed the Primland banner that we had up. That helped us engage in our conversation with them, but we just didn't sell Primland. We sold the Airbnbs that we have here in the county. Like I've mentioned before, we have about 70 plus on our list of individuals who offer bed and breakfast, who offers Airbnb 2 bed and breakfasts. We do have an RV resort that will be coming online, hopefully by the end of this year, up in Medizzadan. Patrick and myself has been up there working with them, needing just a little bit more funding, finding some areas for them. They're still set to go, no issues there. Some of the projected amounts that we worked out with them could be another $1 million revenue. Once that is online and all things work well. Several other individuals in the community are looking to do more primitive camping and camping of some sort. So we're working on some things here in the county, hopefully that we can streamline the business for the county. That's one of the things I would really like the board to take a look at. I'll be working with Beth, hopefully within the next couple of months, getting some ideas, and also working with Mr. Cooper too, Patrick there, to try to make sure that we have a template is what we really need on what you have to do to get business in Patrick County. Too many times they have a tendency to go to one department tell them go here, here, and here, and next thing you know, you've got 4 or 5 months under your belt, and you really don't have a direct, clear cut on what you need to do. So hopefully as the board continues to grow, as we continue to get our house in order as we have been, then that's something we can take a look at, because we are growing. And whatever you do, just keep in mind that, you heard the report from the Sheriff's Department. We do have our issues here in the county with a lot of the issues. We're promoting the beauty, but altogether, Patrick County is one of the greatest places you can find yourself. And that's why we say, come find yourself, come get lost and find yourself here. Last tidbit before I go. We did an internet search for just Patrick County, just to see how many we could come up with. We are the only Patrick County in the entire United States and the world. So the marketing team will be hounding that home very soon. So not only will you find yourself here, but you're going to hear how we are the only one, and that's why you need to be in Patrick County. Okay? But if you have any questions, I'll take them, but I will be reporting to Beth and just giving her some more information. Okay?
Any question?
I got a one real quick. When you were doing the lodging and the rec numbers,
yes.
Was that including Ferrystone and Philpott, or was that just strictly county?
That's including Firestone, not Philpott. They do it by what's actually in our county.
Okay.
Yeah. And the biggest driver of that, again, is still Primland. But if you take a look at the tax receipts, a lot of our Airbnbs, they're doing well. So if you take a look at the $800,000 increase, of course, we know the room rates may have went up a little bit up at Primland, but there are other people here that is contributing to TOT dollars. Very much so.
Just Philpott and Ferrystone is federal and state, so we don't quite get those dollars. So what can we do to steal that from, or to capitalize on?
Well, hopefully we'll be doing some more renovations and getting some more places that we can hopefully house people. That's a hint to a hotel or motel. And a nice convention center. Okay. All right.
Great.
All right. Thank you. Y'all have a good day.
I guess the next thing looked like we got on the agenda is the 2023 VACO Annual Conference Voting Credentials. What do we need to go on that, Amy?
You need to appoint the persons who are attending the VACO conference as voting individuals, and Ms. Sims as proxy.
Okay, I'm going, so I'll be one of them. Okay, how do we need to go about it?
You need to make a motion to appoint. Make a motion to appoint Mr. Kendrick as the delegate to vote, the voting delegate.
Okay, get somebody to make a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Second.
And a motion and a second. Call for a vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. I vote aye also, even though I don't guess, but anyway. So that's all we need on that one?
I'll word it right.
Huh?
I'll word it right.
Okay, all right. And that takes care of the new business, so we'll go into old business, which is the administrative report.
Hello. As you know, this is day 3. So Thursday, I hosted a meet and greet for the employees from 2 to 4 at the Visitor Center with the help of the tourism department. It went well. We had some custom cookies. I hope some of y'all were able to come by and get some. And then just going to give y'all kind of a rundown of some big events we've got coming up. I'm sure y'all already know, but just to reiterate, the Apple Dumpling Festival will be this Saturday in Stewart. The second Pancake Days will be this Sunday in Metazadan. And then the Sunflower Maze at Doe Run Farm in Ararat is running through Saturday, November 4th. So those are our big fall events going on right now. We do have 2 state and county holidays coming up before the next meeting, just to remind y'all of that. County offices will be closed on Election Day, November 7th. And then Veterans Day is observed on that Friday, November 10th. So it will be a little bit of a weird week with people in and out of the office all week. The transfer station holiday hours are trying to make that a little bit more efficient. And so they're going to be open on Election Day. So they'll be open Monday through Thursday of that week and then closed Friday and Saturday. Apparently they've done this before. We do have VACO November 12th through the 14th at the Homestead. And then since that is happening that week, the Board of Supervisors meeting will be the next week on November 20th.
Do y'all have any questions about anything?
Anybody? Good. And then now we'll have the supervisors' reports. Ms. Simmons?
The only other thing I've got is the rec department had a meeting about 2 weeks ago. We had a great turnout for soccer this year. That's concluded now. And then football sign-ups, that was even more than we thought this year. We had a little hiccup with helmets. I don't think there was a lot. Maybe planning went a little wrong on sizes, but he got with Tim. Travis got with Tim, and they took care of that real quick. Thank you for that. Because that was, like you said, that was a safety issue, so they took care of that, and everybody's playing now. I think basketball signups went out, but I feel like he's doing a good job over there, and things are really continuing to grow over there.
Great. Mr. Loach?
Yes, we have been meeting fairly regularly with the Department of Social Services. Have another meeting tomorrow night, working with some of the vacancies that they have there. I would encourage people to come eat pancakes this Sunday. That's a great event. And looking forward to VACO. That's all I have.
And Mr. Perry? I jumped around Denise. But
That's all right. I don't mind going on.
Okay.
So STEP, they've changed their meeting times to accommodate more people. Unfortunately, this past month it interfered with my schedule and I wasn't able to attend. The Planning Commission continues to work on their comp plan, and again, meeting again tomorrow night as well to continue with that. That's all I've had.
Thank you. Denise?
I attended the Stewart Parks and Recreation meeting that they invited all of us to give a recap of their financial status, and they were very appreciative of the $15,000 that the board contributed to them to help financially. They just broke even, so they said they would come and speak to us again. My recommendation to them would be, if they're coming to ask for the $15,000, which they had said they'd probably ask every year, that they should ask for that, in January probably, when everybody starts working on their budgets. But they may still come and present and request $15,000. But they've done a great job. I did not attend the Tourism Advisory Council meeting. I went to the Candidates Forum, and then we have West Piedmont Planning District Commission meeting coming up the 26th of this month. So.
Okay, thank you. I think the only thing that I had was probably the EDA, and most of that was just reorganizing, choosing new officers and all of that, and getting started back off. And like Denise said, we got West Piedmont next week, and I think we got PSA Tuesday night. But that's all I got. Most of the other stuff in the EDA was, as usual, stuff you can't talk about. All right, that's all. I guess we'll go into closed meeting. Anybody got the code?
Yeah. I move that the board convene in closed meeting pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A1 to discuss and consider the following: appointment of a representative for Blue Ridge District to the Economic Development Authority, appointment of a representative from Den River District to the Solid Waste Committee, appointment of a Community Criminal Justice Board.
I'll second that motion.